Good afternoon and welcome to the Presidential Community News from the Hill for the month of March. We are glad that you all are here with us, and as always, glad to have our 11th President of Alabama A&M University, Dr. Andrew Hugine Jr. with us. Hello to you, sir.
Hello to you and good afternoon to each of you. It's always a delight and pleasure to come and share about the great news that's taking place at Alabama A&M University.
Most definitely. We are busy here on the Hill, and let's get started and kind of step back a little bit, talk about the board meeting that always takes place for the spring, and then the wonderful ribbon cutting of the new residential hall. How did the board meeting go?
The board meeting went extremely well. The month of February, fortunately, the agenda is not too heavy. We have a number of reflective things that we do in the month of February, but we did present to the board some academic changes, and so they're a new degree program, and I think the program was a master's in mechanical engineering. Mm-hmm. We also looked at the options of putting some programs in suspended state temporarily, just to give us an opportunity to review those programs and decide going forward exactly what will occur. Mm-hmm. Programs have little or no enrollment, so it's not a program that's going to affect any of the students who currently are enrolled here at the university. And then we transitioned into a wonderful celebration. Something was very exciting here on the campus as we had the ribbon cutting for our new residence hall. And we had numbers of persons present there. Of course, dignitaries. We had a representative from the mayor's office. We had a representative from the office of the governor. Congressman Brooks was there as well. And so it was a day of celebration as we officially moved into the new residence hall that's located there. I think it's 4101 Meridian Street. And so it has really transformed the Meridian Street as we have known it. That's a beautiful building. It has a blend of the old and the new, and that was intentional. If you observe its location, it's right next to the Health and Wellness Center, which is modern. But our campus also takes on the more traditional flair. And so the building has, of course, the traditional features with the columns, those beautiful columns there, as well as the A roof. And then on the corners, you will find the glass, and glass is more of what you find in modern structures. So it's a combination of the two. When you walk into the building, you really don't get the feel of going into a residence hall. It's more like walking into the lobby of a hotel. And again, that it's intentional because we certainly want to have a state-of-the-art facility for all of our students. Students were a part of many of the design features. Students were a part of deciding what furnishings were going to be included in the building as well. And so they had their hands in that because our position is that they're the ones that will be residing there. And we want to be sure that it's a facility that they're going to be very, very proud of. A conversation with students, they are certainly pleased with that, and we're delighted that we have the opportunity to do that. It's going to allow us to do a couple of things here at the university. Our graduate enrollment has certainly been increasing, and so now we're able to give graduate students as well as international students, they will have priority for Normal Hills.
Oh, okay.
And then our upper class students, of course, will have priority for the new residence hall. The other thing that will happen beginning in the fall of the year, we're going to take Thigpen Hall offline for a year. And we are looking at, again, some schematics of what it's going to look like. And it is going to be a beautiful, beautiful transformation that will take place for that residence hall as well. So we're doing much to upgrade the living standards and living facilities for our students because this is their home. This is where they will live for 4 or 5 years while they are pursuing their degrees, and we want them to be in an environment that's going to be conducive to education.
Exactly.
So we're very, very elated and happy about that new residence hall.
It is busy. It's a busy corner now.
It's a busy corner.
There.
A busy corner.
Glad to see that. So as you're talking about transitioning and moving and making things happen, your presidential bus tour, and I'm hearing nothing but good things about that. Tell us how that went.
we look forward to that each year. We've done it for 6 years now. It's one of the highlights of what I have the opportunity to do as president. I just think it's wonderful when the university can take its message beyond the walls and the boundaries here in North Alabama and take them throughout the state, and that's what this allows us to do. It's also good because it serves as an inspiration for young people, particularly in certain parts of the state, and let them know that there are opportunities. There's something that they can do beyond where they are, and that something is, of course, to pursue a degree at Alabama A&M University. This year, we started the tour, as we have in the last couple of years. We started that in Mobile. We made stops in 9 cities along the way. So we went to Mobile, and we went to Pritchard. We did Birmingham, Montgomery. We did Tuscaloosa, Selma. Am I skipping some? Anniston and Gadsden are the places that we were able to make stops. We cluster high schools together. Obviously, we're not able to stop at every high school. And so we ask the high schools if they would come together so that we can present the scholarships to the students who have earned them. And high schools have been very cooperative in doing that. I mention often that we are able to do this tour because of the willingness of the leadership in the high schools to open the doors and allow us to come in. I mean, if they said to us, no, you cannot come in and present and do this for our students, then obviously we can't do it. And so we certainly do want to express our appreciation to those that allow us to come and to share about our university and to recognize their students. This year we provided scholarships to 858 students.
Wow.
And the amount was about $16.25 million over a 4-year period of time. We're hopeful that most of those students will, in fact, take advantage of the opportunity to do that, because one of the things that we shared with them in this whole process is the notion of seizing on opportunities, to being sure that when they present themselves, that you take advantage of them. And obviously, the scholarship represents an opportunity that students would be able to do. And so each year we try to designate or find some theme for our tour. And this year we took from the words of a song, Rise Up. And that was the theme that we selected. And by Rise Up, we meant that responsibility, that students would take responsibility for their success and their future. I represented investing because it's like a business, and so if you want it to be successful, you have to invest in it, and that investment is hard work and dedication. And then the next letter was S, and I mentioned that earlier, to seize, that we, seize the opportunities that present themselves. And then E reminds us of always striving for excellence in whatever it is that we do, because that needs to be the underlying theme for what happens. And then the U is that we are then to be unwavering and the request for whatever it is that we're pursuing after. And the last letter, P, tells us that we ought to pursue our dreams, but to do that with passion and with purpose. And so that's that was our message to them as we moved out throughout the state, that they are to rise up, and then we remind them that they need to rise up and come to Alabama A&M University, where we've been successful in transforming lives and transforming minds through the power of education for 143 years. And so it was a delightful experience.
I want to kind of jump forward here on several topics we're talking about, and this is the Presidential Community News from the Hill. We're talking with Dr. Andrew Hugine, Jr., President of Alabama A&M University. And you're talking about dreaming, and I'm thinking about the Beyond Normal lecture series, and we featured Bakari Sellers this time, and he talked about dreaming with your eyes open, your eyes wide open. And this normal lecture series is really taking off, and I really love how the students are taking advantage to come to listen. We've had Rick Ross, we've had Farnsworth Bentley, Tasha, and Terry McMillan, Susan Taylor, and a whole host of others, Roland Martin, Judge Greg Mathis, we get this together. What is it about this series that you feel why it's taking off so well, especially with the community wanting to come out and listen?
Well, you know, the typically you have Lyceum series, and through those Lyceum series, you're able to bring in noted speakers. Well, this is synonymous to our Lyceum series, beyond the normal. So we bring in these noted individuals, and having conversations with the student affairs area. One of the things that they try to do is to kind of sense from students who they'd like. And if it's possible, we have those individuals to come and to present. So there again, there's student input, and it just so happens in many instances that the same individuals that students are interested in coming, that the larger community also has an interest. And we try to find people that have a message, and not only a message of inspiration, but through their life, they are an example of what students can accomplish. And if you know anything about Judge Mathis, you know he had a little troubled teenage life, but he did not let that deter him from becoming who he was. You know, he was able to get his GED even after getting out of prison and moved on to be a judge.
Right.
So they all have they have these stories to say. You know, and I use the example many times, and I say to people that life is much like playing the game of spades. And the analogy is this. When you're playing the game of spades, you are dealt cards. Those are the cards that you have to play with. You can't just throw them in because you didn't get the number of spades that you think that you want in order to be successful in the game. That's what you have. Now you've got to find a way to take what you have in your hand and try to be successful with it. Life is the same way. We're dealt whatever we're dealt. Now the question is, what do we do with it? You cannot change the circumstances, but you can change how you respond to the circumstances. You know, there's this little book on, if you've ever read the story about fish, that, you know, and there the story is that you have these individuals that work at the fish market. And of course, working at a fish market is really boring and difficult and not the kind of exciting thing you want to do. But they have taken it, and it's actually in Washington, the state of Washington is where this occurs. They have now made that into an exciting experience. So you go in there, they're throwing the fish over the place, and they're singing and everything else. So they didn't change the fact that they had to work in the fish market, but they changed their attitude and the way that they responded to that responsibility. And that's what it is in life. And so you're going to have, you know, we all have disappointments. We all have these things that don't work out. But the question is, how do you respond to them? And that's the message that many of the persons have brought to our students as they talk with them through the Beyond Normal lecture series. Yes, this is what happened in life, but that was not how that didn't define me. Here's what we were able to do as a
I think
result
it's
of that.
wonderful, and I love that. And with me, when it comes to playing spades, which I don't play, because I wanted it to be okay to mess up.
Okay.
So, but a lot of people take spades really seriously.
Well, it depends on
so-
your partner.
Right.
You know, you have to have a partner who's willing to allow you to mess up. Like, you know, I can't get my wife to play with me. She will not play spades with me at all. Period.
Well, she and I might need to get together.
Yeah, because you know
We'll do
I get
that.
a little perturbed and you have the
See?
card and you didn't play the card, so but, you know, get a little. But anyway, it's a life game.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a life
the
game.
lessons learned.
That's right.
Out of even making the mistakes
That's right.
with that. So we look forward to the next normal lecture series coming in the fall. I know the panel discussion was supposed to take place Monday night, and Dr. Crosby is saying that will probably happen during homecoming.
Yeah, will be rescheduled. We are now. That's a very, very difficult to do. I was talking with Dr. Crosby, and he said they actually went through for the time that it was scheduled. They went through 15 different dates. Because remember, you're trying to get the mayor of Birmingham. You're trying to get Councilman Devin Keith. You're trying to get Representative Anthony Daniels, and you're trying to get Attorney Bakari Sellers. All of those individuals are extremely busy, and to find a common time where all of the schedules will come together is rather difficult. But we're starting now, and hopefully we'll be able to. Would like to do it in conjunction with homecoming, but we are committed to trying to pull it together because again, the common theme there is to say to young people, these are your contemporaries. Here's what they've been able to do even at their age. So the sky is the limit for what you can do as well.
We look forward to that. We really, really do. So leadership, they are our leaders. We look forward to them coming and talking with our students. But we have a wonderful leadership program that takes place here. Can you talk about the second cohort?
Yes, one of the things that is important when you talk about leadership, how do leaders develop their skills? Well, there are some givens, and those can be developed and can be taught. First, beginning with an assessment of your strengths and your weaknesses, and how you work as a team. These are skills that can be taught, and so this program that we have, of course, Transcend is the group that's providing the instruction and providing this for us. Its idea is to try and develop a cohort of leaders here at the university. As we look at the future and we are transitioning and being sure that we have that continuity. We don't want to be devoid of leaders. And leader does not always mean that you are necessarily in, quote, a position that carries the title.
Right.
There are many people that are leaders that don't have titles, but we want to develop that group of leaders so that it ensures this university is going to continue. I've mentioned this to the faculty, I've mentioned this to the Board of Trustees. In the next 5 years, there's going to be a tremendous transition taking place here at Alabama A&M University. Right now, about a third of our faculty, we haven't looked at the numbers for staff, but I can say for faculty, a third of our faculty in 5 years can retire if they so want to. Now, I'm not saying that they will. We're not asking them to, but the opportunity is there for them to do that. And so what happens when you are faced with trying to replace a third of your intellectual capital here at the university? And so we will be spending a lot of time being sure that we are identifying talented leaders and talent, developing that so that there is this nucleus of persons to ensure that this university continue to function in the future.
Is it kind of along the lines Leadership Huntsville, sort of, kind of like that?
It has some elements of that. Now, of course, with the Leadership Huntsville, they kind of also get you out in the community and see what the resources are that you can bring to bear. This one is more focused on the campus itself, but it does have some of those same elements.
That's wonderful. Look forward to that. YMTF, we're talking about leader. It seems like the leadership is the focus and the theme for our conversation today. So Youth Motivational Task Force brings in alums and other people back to the Hill that are leaders in their own right, where they work in their cities, to come talk to the students here on campus. How did YMTF play out this year?
Wonderful, as it has for the last 43 years. This is I believe the oldest consecutive running YMTF in the nation. Still going strong. There are some persons who have been with it since its inception, and they still come back and they still give. What is so phenomenal about this is that these are individuals who are giving of their time. Many of them have to pay their way to come back. Their companies don't support them to do this, so they're taking off time for the annual leave. They're putting their resources to come back and to pour into our students. And that's what YMTF is really designed to do, as it says, motivation, to put in front of students persons who are role models, persons who are mentors, to say, this is what you can do. But now here is what you'll need to do in order to achieve that objective. You need to be sure that, doing things such as being certain that you're going to do career development services, you're working on your soft skills, you're being sure that your resumes are appropriate, your interviewing skills are correct. All of this to help you achieve the objective that you want to. And so we are just so pleased that persons continue to come back and to be a part of this each year, and it continues to grow. And there are persons who are not graduates of the university, but they believe in this program, And of course, our graduates reach out to them and ask if they would come and be a part of the YMTF.
And the current students can see, our theme, Start Here, Go Anywhere,
That's right.
what they have done when they started here at Alabama A&M
That's right.
University. So Conversations with the President, we do this once a month, but you have something else in the works with Conversations with the President. What is that?
Well, we've done this for a number of years, and this is an informal setting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's done over a meal. You know, in the South we like to eat. So
Right.
we have an evening meal, and the Executive Committee of the Faculty Senate, the Executive Committee of the Staff Senate are there,
Mm-hmm.
but they also randomly select faculty and staff. So we don't know from one conversation to the other who is actually going to be there.
Mhm.
So hopefully over time everyone will have an opportunity to come. And then we have members of the President's Cabinet that are there. And we eat, and we just have a conversation. We talk about anything that people want to talk about. Any questions they want to ask, they can ask those questions, and we, of course, try to answer them to the best of our ability. So it's informal, but it's an opportunity to interact with the President, with the First Lady, with other members of the Cabinet, in a setting that's not structured. So there's nothing structured. There is no formal agenda. We just meet and we talk.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, food always makes a nice way to have a conversation over a meal.
Good chat and chew.
Chat and chew.
Chat with the President. That's wonderful. Now, something that's huge, I think it's really, really big, because we do have business with Regions Bank, of course, and Wells Fargo. But now Redstone Federal Credit Union is partnering with Alabama A&M University, and we say kudos to them. And I think they couldn't have picked a better organization to partner with. Tell us about that.
Oh, we're just so excited. This is the first branch that they've placed on a university campus.
Mhm.
They have some branches on high schools, but this is the first on a college campus. And as Mr. Newberry indicated, this all started with a conversation one afternoon after we had a chamber meeting. And he mentioned, well, you know, I'm thinking about this idea of putting a branch on the campus. What was your thought? And he said, I'm thinking, you know, I'm looking at Alabama A&M and some other universities. I said, well, I'll tell you what, you come see me next week. We'll get it done.
Uh-huh.
And so one thing led to another. We brought Dr. Dale Smith in, and we were then able to work through the details about this. And what's good is that it's providing experiential education opportunities for our students. So we have 5 students that are actually there. We have a graduate, Wanda, who is actually the branch manager there for this. And so it's a full service branch. Now, obviously, there's no money, so you can, when you go in, you're not able to get any monetary transactions. There is a virtual teller right outside. So you pick the phone up, and then a teller at one of the branches actually comes on, and you can do the other transactions that you need in terms of deposits or withdrawals, and et cetera. But you do it through that virtual teller. But the other, if you want to open an account or you want to check on information of that sort, it can be done there. And so this is a first. We're really excited again to be the first, and we certainly thank Redstone for thinking about Alabama A&M University and giving us this opportunity. The other piece that I mentioned that's so significant and important is that it also will provide for our students financial literacy. Many of our students do not have access to bank accounts, and we don't want too many of the credit cards, but at least account to help them take care of their financial needs, services. And so this gives them that opportunity to begin early, building credit, so that when the time comes for major purchases such as houses and cars and et cetera, that they would have a credit score that would make it possible for them to get the loans or the mortgages that they need.
And the one thing that we're excited about, I talked with Lawan George with Redstone Federal Credit Union, the new debit card that they've come up with, which will be a maroon card, which I thought, okay, well, that was smart. And but they're excited about that entity with Redstone Federal Credit Union and Alabama A&M as well.
Yes, and we do encourage everyone, not only our students, but our alumni, supporters, to be sure that you get one of those affinity cards. It is a debit card, but each time that card is used, that's 10 cents that comes to the university. And of course, in this case, it's going to go to our College of Business and Public Affairs, support the activities there. But it's a very easy way to make a contribution to the university with ease. I mean, you're going to use a debit card anyway, and so
Right.
if you're using the card without even thinking or doing anything, the mere fact that you swipe the card, that's 10 cents. So just think about that. Every 10 swipes, that's $1.
Right.
So you keep multiplying, you can see the significant advantage and the amount of money we will accumulate over time.
It will add up. They
will
had to do
definitely
some
add
math with me on that, and I said, okay, yeah, that will add up
It
like
will
that,
add up.
especially
It
during
will add-
Christmas.
That's right. It will add up.
You know you will use it then. So, well, we are so excited, and I know football season is kind of around the corner. And in terms of your presidential tour, when you went down to Mobile, I know they want more of a presence of the university down there. So, can you quickly talk about the game that's going to take
Sure.
place down there?
We'll be playing Southern there in the first Gulf Coast Challenge, and that's going to be fun. They meaning of course Southern are happy because for them that's a shorter distance and traveling to Mobile than it is to travel here, and so they were quite willing to do that. You know that we have a tremendous alumni base in the Mobile area, and they're excited about us coming there. Again, it's a marketing opportunity for the university, and so there's going to be a parade. There'll be opportunities for college fairs. So it's not only just football, but we're really marketing the university, and so we encourage everyone to be present, to be a part of that. We're also this year trying to increase the number of season tickets that we have. We haven't reached that magical number that we'd like, and so one of the things we did this past weekend is we had a sale. And I probably wish we could have done this announcement prior to, but regularly season tickets are $140, but we had them on sale last week for $100, so that we can try to increase that fan base. And it would be a great way to fill the stadium and welcome our new football coach.
Right.
Coach Maynard would be delighted to see us there, and we're excited about what we know is going to be a grand season that's coming up.
Well, first home game is September 1st.
With Miles.
Yes.
Miles College.
That'll be exciting.
That should be very exciting. Anytime you play in-state rivals, that's always an exciting game.
Well, we
It's
look
always
forward to
exciting
that.
game.
You can find information at aamutix.com. That one I do know. Well, Dr. Hugine, thank you so much, and we look forward to talking with you in April. And here on the Presidential Community News from the Hill, and enjoy your spring break coming up. I know you'll need some much needed rest.
And the same to you. Thank you so very much for having me.
Thank you. This has been the Presidential Community News from the Hill here on WJAB. We have more music coming your way on Afternoon Expressions, and also an update from their award-winning news magazine, All Things Considered.